Good day, everyone. So this time I'm going to discuss the Filipino cultural heritage during the Spanish era. So first is that in 1521, Ferdinand Magellan set foot on the Philippine soil after a brief pleasant encounter with the natives headed by Raja Humabon. So Ferdinand Magellan is a Portuguese explorer and the first one who successfully navigated the world sailed under the Spanish, and he first arrived here in the Philippines in Homonhon Island, and then to Limasawa, where the first mass happened. He was the one who introduces Christianity in the Philippines and baptizes 800 natives, marked the beginning of Christianity in the Philippines. And then he arrived in the Cebu, where the Battle of Mactan happened. So, the Battle of Mactan happened due to refusal of Lapu-Lapu to submit to Spanish rule. This is where Magellan died. Then, after 44 years, Ruy Lopez de Legazpi was able to conquer the land which the Spaniards discovered through the Magellan voyage. This is where the start of the colonization of the archipelago, which Legazpi gave the name Filipinas in honor for the king of Spain. Then changes in the life and culture of the inhabitants happened, which many embraced easily, others opposed and fought, but nevertheless Spain was able to conquer their minds and soul, except on the Muslim and indigenous tribes in the north. Why only the Muslim and indigenous tribes in the north? Can Spaniards cannot conquer their minds and soul because the these Muslim people and the people in the north are loyal to their culture and beliefs. That's why they cannot able to conquer their minds and soul. Next is the Philippine society during the Spanish era. So the Philippine society during the Spanish era was composed of the ruling class, middle class, and the indios. So belonging to the ruling class is the Peninsulares and middle class is the Insulares or Creoles, and the Indios, and lastly is the Masa. So Peninsulares were the Spaniards were born in Spain, and the Insulares or Creoles are the Spaniards who were born in the Philippines. And the Indios is divided into Principalia, where the native aristocratic like the wealthy educated Filipino belong. Dra na belong sa Indios ang mga children of former datos and Gobernador Silios Cabeza de Barangays and the wealthy educated Filipino. And lastly is the Masa. The Masa is the lowest class in the colonial period. Dito na nabilong tong mga slaves, mga lower rank on the during the Spanish era. Next is we have here the book Doctrina Christiana en Lengua Española y Tagala. This is the first book printed in the Philippines in 1593. So this book contains the basic teachings of Roman Catholic faith, including the Ten Commandments and customary prayers like the Ave Maria. The book also features the old writing system of Baybayin. It is primarily a catechism for the instructions of Filipinos. So it is written by the Dominican friars. The purpose of this book is para masabtan sa mga Filipino peoples ang mga teachings about being Catholic, since Spaniards man ang nag-introduce sa Christianity sa atuang bansa. Next is we have the education system of the Philippines during the Spanish era. So the first school in the Philippines were parochial schools. opened by the missionaries. When we say parochial schools, ang church ang the one who affiliated these schools were the churches or parishes, and students were taught arithmetic and practical arts education. And in the collegiate schools, students were taught Latin, geography, mathematics, and philosophy. But boys and girls during this era went to separate schools. And the school for girls, the subjects that are being taught to them were the religion, arithmetic, good manners, painting, writing, Spanish, music, and home economics. And next is higher education in the Philippines began in the 17th century, but only for the Spaniards and to these people who has Spanish bloods. So when we say higher education, it means that the level of education that provides advanced academic and professional knowledge and skills. So, ang mga Spaniards lang ang karapatan nga maka-eskwela sa na eskwelahan. And then in the 19th century, dito pa naka-eskwela ang mga Filipinos sa higher education level. Then for over 300 years, education in the Philippines was the responsibility of the church. So, ang mga missionaries ang mag-assign og teachers, mag-provide o mag-decide kung unsa ang mga subjects or kung unsa ang ipangtudlo sa mga students. So, sila kibali ang nag-associate sa tanan for over 300 years. And under the Educational Decree of 1863, public schools, two primary schools, one for girls and one for boys, were opened. So, a normal school for boys was opened on 1865 and for girls is on 1892. So next is the Conquistas de las Islas Filipinas by Gaspar de San Agustin, 1698. So, this is a book during the Spanish era. So, if you want to know more about the Hispanization of the Philippines, you can read this book, because this book serves as a first-hand account of the early years of Spanish rule in the Philippines, provide valuable insights into the interactions between Spanish colonizers and Filipino people. So, not just only the Christianity that the Filipino wholeheartedly embraced during the Spanish colonization in the Philippines, but also they influenced the lives of the Filipino in terms of the food. Like the Filipino learned to eat ham, chorizo, sardines, canned goods, drink coffee and chocolate. And in dressing, they learn how to dress camisa de chino and a pants. And for the leisure, they know how to play cards, bullfight, and horse race. They also learn to celebrate fiestas. Next, the Filipinos became fond of Spanish songs, learned how to use musical instruments such as the piano, and every maiden must know how to play violin, flute, harp, and others. And the first Teatro Comico was built in the country in 1790. And the Muro-Muro, Sinaculo, and the Comedia became also popular theatrical literature during this era. The native Filipino who know how to write and speak Spanish, they develop fondness for writing, and literature written in the dialects in this era also flourished, and the most popular, namely, are the Passion, Awit, and the Corrido. Life in the Spanish Philippines could be glimpsed from the readings. First is we have the readings number 26, The Bible Life 131 by Father Pedro Murillo Velarde, as cited in Onofici Corpus, The Roots of the Filipino. So, Father Pedro Murillo Velarde was a Jesuit priest known for his 1734 drawing of the first detailed map of the Philippine archipelago, described as magnificent, the mother of all Philippine maps, and a landmark in the depiction of the islands and the first scientific map of the islands. Father Velarde was one of the most noted among Jesuit writers. The reading number 27, Life in Intramuros. It is an excerpt from Pulse of the World City by Conrad Myrick, published in the Filipino Heritage Lahing Filipino Publishing Incorporated 1977. Then the reading number 28, a French account of Philippine society and life during the Spanish period by Guillaume Le Gentil. Guillaume Le Gentil de la Galacere is an assistant astronomer of the Academy of Sciences in 1753. Was assigned to observe the transit of Venus on the sun's disk in Pondicherry on June 6, 1761. He missed the rendezvous due to the war. He traveled across the entire East. He arrived in Manila on August 10, 1766. He stayed until February 1768, and he left a 90-page journal and 25 remarkable lithographs. Lastly is the reading number 30, an account of Viscount Pierre de Pages of his travel to the Philippines. So Viscount Pierre de Pages was a Navy officer who put himself in service and went to New Orleans, Mexico, and Acapulco. On April 2, 1768, he joined a 500-ton galleon ship, which was forced by storm to go to Palapa, or Samar Island. He gave a fascinating narrative of the Philippine archipelago and its inhabitants. So that's all, and thank you.